after live, please make sure to hit that like button. The stranger, welcome in. Mel, welcome in, love. Good to see you in here. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this on social media so we can help expand the coverage that we do with this live, but also expand the reach so we can reach newer faces as well, so we can have a more expanded look. We'll continue looking at PAX-G, the continuation from yesterday, as we're doing a case study. We bought in around 1995 because it was one of the few that I could find that was the opposite of what most of the other patterns were doing. And as some of you know, I only said I went over at 500. I mean, I'm not going to say exactly how much I put in on a 10X, but right now it's up $13 times 10, so it's up about $130 if you're looking at it at a 10X perspective. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with the entirety of the move, but it was a pretty safe, pretty slow moving one, even if I had lost a few dollars at where it was at in the pattern. I'm trying to do a case study between one that was on a rotation where it's at right now in comparison to XRP, Bitcoin, and most of cryptos that we cover. They were on the topping out part of the phase when the Bitcoin ETF approval came through, at least the fact that they can now have them. But this was one that was kind of rotating to the bottom side, and I wanted to see if there was any part of the market that was going to have a rotational tug up to tell us that there's hope after a liquidity grab for the rest of crypto to follow. And this was one that I had found that was on an opposite rotation. So we were very bold yesterday talking about it. I even took out the futures on the live so that I would have a stake in the game because of it allowed me to watch it a little bit closer. So everybody who was there yesterday and back today, I'm glad that you continued watching the progression here. So I'm not a day trader when I do these futures trades. I look for a more of a rotational spin that I can find. So I'm not somebody who looks to sell it in an hour. I'm looking for the maximization of this. It just depends on the rotational part of the pattern. So let me get into the time stamping this, and then I'll get into saying hi to everybody. Well, I'll say hi to a couple people. David, welcome in. Mark Caston, good evening. Mario, welcome in. Good late evening to you as well, Mo. I appreciate you being in month 2 of Tom's Army, Mo. That's the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. And yes, hit that like button as he stated. Mel, love, I appreciate you being in month 5 or 6 with the XRP Meteor. I love that. It's one of my favorite ones. Noah, welcome in with the 1 year badge, the I told you so badge. That's the emoji badge. JW, welcome in. He's also got the I told you so emoji badge on. Thank you so much, JW. And that's 12 months to 24 months. At 24 months, you get the 589 badge. That 0.589, it's got the moon on it with XRP. But I made the 0.589 badge on purpose because everybody was saying 589 at the end of 23. And I said, no, 58.9 cents. And what happened? So it feels good to be in the right spot. Who else did I say hi to? Derek, welcome in. Jorge, Harvey, Louville, welcome in. And thank you for being 1 year plus in Tom's Army with the I told you so badge. I love it. Love it. Thank you all so much for the continued support. So let me timestamp this. Good evening. 6:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, January 11th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Yes, that very state where Michigan won the first national championship in 20. It's almost embarrassing saying it. 26 years on Monday night, but no longer. We have now won our most recent championship as of 3 days ago. So, let's see. I know, JW, wasn't that a perfect emoji badge for 2 years? And I had to plan that all the way out from 2021, as some of you know who have been here for a while. So it's pretty cool because YouTube lets you do 1 through 6 months for your badges, then 12 months. Then you don't get to do anything until 24, 36, and 48. Then I think there's one at 60 and 72 months. So I'm just blessed that there's actually a handful of people that are within, I think, 2 months now of the 36-month badge, and I can't wait until I can release that. I'm just waiting. And I always have the proof because everybody who's going to be wearing the emoji badges and yada, 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 all into the future, people are going to say, holy crap, what did this one mean? Well, that's what it is. Howdy, Simon. Welcome in. CJ2 Pilot. Yes, indeed. Welcome in. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for 6 months. I believe that one is. It's either 5 or 6 months. If it's less, well, that's okay. It's always good to give credit. XRP, though, let's just look at this for what it is. We came up with what we talked about the entire week. I telegraphed the futures trade if you wanted to take it. I was very bold and told everybody I went the algo route because I was able to go through it quicker. I wish that I would have maybe took out the XRP one so more people would have seen it in close, like more in person. But I did show every step of the way on this. I even was live when it came up here and I told everybody at 58 cents, don't take it out yet. Don't take the futures out yet until we get that pull down. It was right here, literally. And then it pulled down here on the live not 10 minutes after I said it. And I said, if you're going to go long, that's the exact spot you do it. And what happened? That was the exact low, and it was a beautiful tug. And now it came right up to 62 cents. Now, as my title says, can XRP, like it's the moment of truth, will XRP break past Bullflag resistance? And that's just exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. We broke down from a Bullflag, the small Bullflag that started, and we can go back here just so everybody who's new can see. It started November 6th of 2023, only 2 months ago. But it broke down. Technical target was to come down to 534, which it met. Had a wick a little bit farther, but it fulfilled the technical target. Bounced off of that pivot point. But notice, if some had bought the pivot level at 534, and they went like, let's just say a 20x trade, they were like, you know what? Tom said 534 is the level. That's where I'm putting in my my long. I'm just gonna put in a limit order, and I want it to clear at 534. Look what these players did in the market, though. Literally, 5.7% wick came down past there just for it to pull up in the exact same, couple minutes. So, if you had anything from a 15x or higher, you got liquidated. And what did it do? It just came right back up and came up 15, 16%. So, it liquidated everybody who would have done that. And then they would have missed out on an immediate move back. That's why you got to watch the wicks when it's happening. And that's also why when it does do a formation like that, you actually start drawing out every part of the formation so that you can see the in-betweens. Like if you just look at the one chart, you can't see this part of it, but we drew this out before. This was the extension, and then now you can see exactly what happened with the pattern, and you don't have to guess. Like this is, I think, one of the things I think is the funniest thing when people think they can't switch their own technical analysis to catch up to where we're at. What's wrong with doing that and updating what actually happened so that you can see when it comes down to a resistance point or hits a resistance and has to come to a support? If it were to break this golden cross here in the 2 hourly, it's very simplistic. It just needs to come back down and retest this area. But knowing where that area is a good thing to know. Right now we know the resistance. There's nothing on this screen right here. The rising channel resistance is up here at 65.5 cents. So that, or 66 cents, that's from June of 2022. But you can't even get to that pattern until we break past the short-term bull flag that we broke down from. That's our immediate resistance right now. And yes, it bull flagged out like we thought. It was hung up like a bear flag disguised. It was a bear flag, or a bull flag disguised as a bear flag. And we talked about this the moment it happened. And I was very vocal about wanting it to play down instead of up. Because then instead of having it going towards overbought in every single time frame, we would have a beautiful move and oversold. To me, it looks like even in the RSI, it's building a bull flag consolidation. I know it came through the resistance line, and that should let us think that it's going to come down. But I think that's kind of to throw us off. I really think it's probably going to play up. Maybe not after or before a support hit at that 57.7 possibly. And this was the most recent part of the pattern that we had projected. We knew when it broke up where it was going. It was just an easier way to show it from here, and it expanded. And then it just broke out. And the breakout obviously correlated with the Bitcoin ETF approval. I think there's been like 11 of them. So it's going to be a big mess. And then there was also, for anybody who was in yesterday, we talked about, or we showed the Bloomberg coverage, and they actually brought up an XRP ETF. They said it, not me. They said, does that mean an XRP ETF or Ethereum ETF? They threw both of them out there, are going to be next. I find it hard to believe an XRP ETF would be next while this is still going on. But it lets you see that they're punching us in the face while shaking hands on the side. you know. So it's not all that it seems to be, is it, ladies and gentlemen? We're 10 minutes in, 68 people watching, only 38 likes. Please make sure to hit that like button. It will definitely help push this content. It'll help expand our reach as well. We need to do a better job than 38 likes. I do a lot of work in here, and as you can see, my voice is already struggling today, and I'm giving it my best. But I would greatly, greatly appreciate if you hit that like button. I always tell people you can circumvent it by sending a YouTube super chat or joining Tom's Army, but I really think the easiest thing to do and the most progressive thing to do to help this channel grow is just hit that like button. It's free. It's not going to bite you. It's not going to slap you in the face, and it's not even going to call you a name.
Might try.
Might try, because YouTube's finicky. Are we still on track for that 85-cent mark? Well, I mean, in all reality, I wanted to take the down route so that we could take that route. So it depends. It depends what we do here. Not 85. Now it's progressed on to the part of the pattern where we would probably hit somewhere. Yeah, see, as we move on, it's going to take time. So let's just say it's February 5th. If it's February 5th now, as you're coming down, you're going to see how this starts to move. So now you're looking at about 80 cents. And then that would change this. These are just if you break out of a expanded pattern formation, and we're just going to keep catching it up and see when exactly, if and when this happens. Because if you were to break out of a pattern that started in January of 2016, we obviously have to put the numbers out there to support the move out. It's not that I'm saying it's going to happen, but you also have to put that move out. And then it expands a little bit, but it's all based on where we're going. But I'm going to take this because these are way out there. I'm going to take this out of there too. Those are way out there. So, but you have to calculate in case it does break out. Now, if we're looking at it from a daily perspective, relative strength index on our XRP is breaking bullish. It's breaking bullish. I wanted it to dump down into deep oversold so technical traders would have bought. And that's what you would have had with the second retest down at 53.4. It would have been just spectacular for XRP as a whole, but unfortunately it didn't do it. It took the bullish route as I've been talking about. And what that does is now in the 4-hourly, you can see with one more spike up, we're going to be into the overbought. That's just, we can't, there's nothing I can do about that. I would say we're more on pace for a move to 67 cents rather than 80 cents right now. I'd say we got to slow the horses just a little bit on 80. We've got to do the proper consolidation if we come to 66. We were on track for the move, but we needed that last liquidity grab. Now it's just going to put us to a point where once we start rotating, a couple daily candles like this, it's going to be overbought. And then the technical traders disappear. That's why I like to look at it. It doesn't mean that that's how it's going to play out, but when the technical traders have no advance, makes it difficult. I see a bull flag there, even in the weekly. So it tried to dip down, and it had an instant reversal. You know, we've only got 3.5 days, roughly. 3 days and 1 hour left of this weekly candle. So I see opportunity for XRP to finish this move, but not to get out of the bull flag. If it gets back up there and breaks it, well, there's your technical target if you were to get topside. But as we see, because of how we've come down, we put an awfully lot of resistance in front of us. And it's not going to be a straight shot if it goes. Miss Vicky, welcome in, love. I really appreciate you tuning in as always. Infamous, thanks for hitting that like button twice. Thank you very much, my friend. Although it only counts as one, unless you're on 2 different accounts. Well, if that's the case, you've done double duty. Man, my voice is struggling today. I'm going to get through this in a real fashion here because I'm definitely feeling it in my throat right now. So we will try to finish this. So let's go through what I wanted to go through real quick. H bar down 0.11% to 0.0833. Still, just like the rest of crypto, looks like it wants to make the next leg up. It really does. One account banned from chatting, maybe. Yeah, it's possible. I don't ban anybody, but, you know, I wouldn't put it past somebody else or YouTube. I don't care enough to ban anybody, to be honest. If somebody wants to call me an asshole, so be it. I don't care. So either right here, we're either going to get a bounce or you'd get a consolidation and then try to bounce, or we need to have a continuation up here, something like this. And then you'd want to have something like this. So it's either it's going to reject here, it's going to play to the top side. So that's what I'm looking for. H bar. It followed this trend pretty good. It's just now that it came down, we know it hit the support, so we can build the pattern. We only had it going out to about, what, right here. This down, and then we had the two ways. Unfortunately, I took the down route. So now we have to contend with the rising channel. Either it's going to take it as a resistance, or it's going to turn it back into support. Based on where the RSIs are, I like the odds that in time it's going to take it as a support. But that's just me, you know. I'm just some idiot on YouTube. I'm not a financial advisor, although I do a better job than most, than all, to be honest. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I know financial advisors. I see what they do with my dad. He's just, I don't understand. He's got me right here, but he still likes the FANG and all the other nonsense they push. Dad, I could get you in Facebook, Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, and that's not even a FANG stock, but I'm just saying the ones that are bigger, I could put them in all of them. But, you know, that's what happens. They tell you, what do they preach to you? Financial advisors, 401ks, retirement. Get your IRA now. When all you have to do is buy gold and silver. Fuck that IRA. Excuse my French. Or that 401k where you're putting into a stock market where everything's overinflated. Oh, yeah, that's going to get us somewhere. Got to put your money into real assets. Real money. I'm not saying you can't have it, but you better have a bag full of shiny metals. I'd put my bag of shiny metals up against any 401k. Let's see. Algo and H-bar joining forces good. Yes, it is very good. We already know that Algo, XRP, and XLM joined forces along with IOTA. We know a lot of these have joined forces. I think it's good. Ooh, you did post it, Allegram. That is true. Tanya, let me I know I see. Let's see. Looks like it's a done deal. This is what I was reading before. Thank you so much for this, Tanya. Let's pull this up. So, Securities and Exchange Commission, self-regulatory organization. So, pursuant to section. So, this is, these are 22 pages about the Bitcoin. So, these are the ones that you would probably get then. Let's see if we can get. So here we go. These are the ones that were approved for Bitcoin, for the ETFs. So file with the Securities and Exchange Commission, proposed rule change the list, yada, yada, yada. So list and trade shares of the, so the proposed rule changes to list and trade shares of the following. New York Stock Exchange, ARCA proposed to list and trade shares of 1, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, 2, the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF. So everybody yesterday who told me the ETF wasn't approved, you were wrong. I tried to tell everybody the ETF is absolutely approved, and not just one of them, multiple ETFs. Under NYSE ARCA rule, yada, yada, commodity-based trust shares. So guys, they're already ruling these as commodities. So if Bitcoin's ETF is a commodity, how is that? Again, the case is over. They've just completed what we call a double negative. You can't sue somebody for being a security when you've just went out on a limb and just said Bitcoin and crypto is a commodity. They just shot themselves in the dick. Excuse me. Shot themselves in the, you know what. It's over. Does anybody see that right there? Bitcoin ETF. Commodity-based trust shares. Does anybody understand even what that means for XRP? Just out of curiosity, does anybody understand that lingo? Maybe not. And then we've got number 3, the Hashdex Bitcoin ETF, trust units. We already knew about Grayscale, that they would be the number one, numero uno. We've got the iShares Bitcoin Trust was 4. The Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund is 5. And look, another commodity-based trust share. So they're admitting these are commodities. 6. The ARK 21 shares, of course, with ARK Innovations. You've got all the big wigs that are on here, all the ones who are market manipulators at their finest. The Invesco Galaxy Bitcoin ETF is number 7. The Van Eck, of course, another big ETF in the markets. Another I'm not even going to keep talking about that, as JW, I'll get myself in trouble. The Van Eck Bitcoin Trust is 8. The Wisdom Tree Bitcoin Fund is 9. The Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund is 10. And the Franklin Bitcoin ETF is number 11. Under BZX rule, commodity-based trust shares, each fund was subject to notice and comment. Like, the fact that they're telling us that it's under a Bitcoin ETF and it's commodity-based. So, that's a Tom question. It sure is a Tom question. Absolutely, it's a Tom question. Let me, maybe I missed the other question. But I'm asking a question myself, too. But DGB, we can see it on this head and shoulders pattern, but as I showed yesterday, it's just within a wider formation. So DGB with the rest of crypto looks like it wants to take the rejection route. It can't help it. It's not going to oppose the rest of crypto. That's what it seems like we're trying to do, unfortunately. I would have loved to have the route to support. It's just me. Not everybody feels the same. XLM. Again, another one that could have took the route to support. I had it put out here perfectly for everybody to see. Took the route to rejection. XLM, it's going to have a golden cross here shortly in the 2-hourly. Probably come back down possibly to 12 cents to show that support. And then I suspect it'll be at 13.1. As I've said with BitGet, they turned their back on the USA, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they fell under. They started to... Initially, we loved them. Initially, we loved BitGet. I loved BitGet. It looked like their books were nice until you looked a little deeper with what they started doing when they started to do way too much. And I mean way too much. They were putting too much of their basis on, hey, you can stake and get an absurd amount of money off of your staking. Well, that ended up catching them in the ass. Real bad. And they tried to hide that, in my opinion. So I told everybody I don't trust BitGet anymore once I found out a little bit more of what their new ways of business were. I told everybody I'm out. Can't do it. I'm not going to keep my money somewhere where I don't even trust them. Then they stopped allowing new users in the USA, and that's a big no-no. Now, if they let you continue to trade if you're already a user and they just feared repercussion of the SEC in the USA, well, that's something else. That's what MEXC did. They were afraid to add new clientele, but they didn't stop you from actually trading, withdrawing, and even if you're already on there, depositing and yada, yada, yada. But I just don't, I don't know. I don't trust BitGet, and that's legitimate. But it probably could happen with BitGet like FTX. I wouldn't be surprised. Something's not right there. Remember, they came into the USA in 2023 or 2022, and they had a huge event in Arlington. Huge event. And they basically spent millions of dollars to market in the Super Bowls and all these other places. And then the exchange basically said, well, we don't want no part of the USA. So they took all the liquidity, and I believe they're going to run. Or they already did from some. But I forewarned everybody. Once I found out, I had my stuff out. Our audience did. Anybody who was paying attention to it. And it's still working just fine. So you still have time. I'm just saying we front ran this by over a year now. It's other exchanges I've been on too. Once I realized that something wasn't right, said I can't do it. Like Femex. Femex was a big part of my plan as well. After BitGet went away, I liked MEXC and Femex. But then all of a sudden, Femex pulled the same shit as BitGet. And I said, I've seen this a time or two before, and I got out right away. Told them to kick rocks. But I liked that site too. Femex was very easy to futures trade, very friendly. And they had low spot fees, but, if they're not going to allow new people in the USA, MEXC is the only one that I still like that decided to go that route because they still allow us to use our withdrawals, deposits, and all that other crap. So, anyhow, XLM just watch for a possible retest at, 12 cents, but a likely move is going to finish to 13 cents. I think it's got to come up here. I think now that these held the extension areas, I think there's no reason for it not to come out. I'm just going to take this away for now. But there's no reason for it not to break up here now. It took the up route. Even if it's taking the up route for rejection, which I suspect could happen across crypto, it's still something we got to pay attention to. And then as I promised, oh no, let's do Bitcoin real quick. And then I'll show you the PAXG while I'm still here because we're doing our little case study. And I would love to see how this advances. Because it's the only one, maybe one of the few that I could find that was dumping while the ETF was announced going into it, as most of crypto was pumping. So we'll see, you know, it had the immediate. Yeah, so we had a little shakeout prior. But I mean, in the totality, we were going up instead of down. So it makes it fascinating to see exactly how it's going to play. Bitcoin's weekly looks awful. We'll start there. The weekly is overextended beyond belief. And with one more move up, Bitcoin's going to be extremely overextended. We're already overextended. It looks like it's coming up to a head. So I expect it to come up to 93 or 95 probably in the weekly. And if that happens, I could see it move to 53,000. It's just, we all know this major resistance right here at 48,250, about 48,250 right now. That's about 2,000 points up that it has to play. It's in Bitcoin's best interest to probably dump down here. But with the ETF approval, that looks like an inverted hammer in the making, and those are not bearish candles. So, we'll see. 4 hourly looks like a reversal right after a down candle, even though it was showing a bearish hammer. So it could be disguised as a bearish candle, but still it was a hammer candle, so it didn't even make a new low at the end of the candle. So I think there's some optics here. It just doesn't feel right. It needs to come down, though. Let me be clear. It needs to come down here, the 40,706, before trying to break out. Otherwise, we're just going to top out at 53, and it could be a sudden drop. Like, if it went to 53, it could be a sudden drop, or a 53.3. And when I say sudden, I mean it hits it, and then bam, you got 25% down in like a day or two. Nobody wants that. That's what we don't want. And then with PAXG, the same thing we've been talking about since yesterday. Same thing. So as we know, most of them are on that very high end in the shorter time frames, are on the pushing into overbought. This one's just rolling out of oversold now. So there's a reason why, and this isn't a Bullflag setup, and I've targeted the move. If it breaks out like it's supposed to, it would be 2,084. So I want to see if the market's going to play like this, and if this moves up, it gives me a little bit of hope that we'll have a continuation, because if the ones that are playing down from support in the shorter time frames do break out, it could give that credibility for some of the other ones to finish their move, even though it would hit a major resistance and they would just be oversold at a, overbought at just an extreme level. Even when you get into the daily and weeklies, you know, you got something else that was kind of rotating around. So we'll see what happens. But this is one that I've just been studying, put a little bit of interest in it. Well, at a 10x at 1995 live on air yesterday. So it is what it is. So I'm going to continue watching that. I'll continue to keep you updated, but that's what I'm looking at. And right now it's at 2007.67. So barely moved, but I really like doing this. So ATK, I'm doing really good. Got a new job that pays 30,000 more a year. Oh, wow. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, it's going to be a slow ride, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be a slow ride. I'm going to end this here. My voice is just, it is shot from Monday. I've been doing my best all week. But I do appreciate everybody so much. XRP Rippers, thank you so much for the $5 donation. First one of the night. I greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. I mean, I don't really know of anything else that I can share right now. And if I keep talking, it's going to ruin, I won't be able to do this tomorrow. So thank you all so much. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Have a blessed evening. I may come on later tonight. I don't know. I kind of think I might, but we'll see what happens. Have a